Is The Well a sequel to Midnight? Are the Autons returning for a quick cameo? And are we going to get a Timeless Child mention and a Fugitive Doctor return in Doctor Who Season 2? Those are some of the theories that I'm going to be discussing in this final Doctor Who Season 2 theories video. Okay, so obviously I've recently released my final Doctor Who Everything We Know for Season 2 video a couple days ago, but there's a couple things that I've missed in there that have been kind of hinted at recently, or that people have speculated on fairly recently, because I got that video finished at the start of this week, and a lot of these things have come up in the past couple of days or so, and I didn't want to update the video again because I've already had to do that before. So I thought I'll discuss a couple of these news updates and potential theories in its own video just before we get Doctor Who Season 2 in what's probably going to be the last video before Doctor Who Season 2 starts, and before I start my reviews of the season. And we're going to start with the theory that Episode 3, The Well, might be a sequel to Midnight. So obviously there's been a lot of speculation recently that Doctor Who Season 2 Episode 3, The Well, is possibly going to be a sequel to the Series 4 episode Midnight. Now in my last video I kind of dismissed this slightly, saying that if The Well is going to be a sequel to anything, it seems more likely that it's going to be a sequel to something like The Impossible Planet and Satan Pit, but I'm now starting to lean towards the theory that this is going to be a sequel to Midnight. So the synopsis for The Well in the newest issue of Doctor Who magazine reads: stranded on the inhospitable planet 6767, the Doctor and Belinda team up with a platoon of troopers who have been sent to investigate Colony Base 15, a mining operation that they've lost contact with. Arriving at the installation, they soon discover that something is very wrong indeed, and that something soon reveals itself to be at the heart of the Doctor's worst nightmares. And we've also had some dialogue for this episode in one of the recent trailers, alongside footage of this episode, with the Doctor saying that he's been there before, and something along the lines of this being the scariest thing that he's ever had to deal with in the past.
I've been here before, and I met something. I've never been so scared in my life.
Which could seemingly be hinting at the Midnight entity from Midnight. So yeah, it doesn't seem necessarily from that this is definitely going to be a sequel to Midnight. But one thing that I somehow missed when we got the title reveals for these episodes, in the title card reveal for The Well, is you can see a clock in the background that turns from 11:59 to midnight, which seems to be a hint that this is going to be a sequel to Midnight. So that further adds to the speculation that this episode is going to be a sequel to Midnight, and I'm now really starting to think that this is more likely than I did before. Now, I have mixed feelings on how this is going to be executed and if I think this is a good idea in the first place. Midnight is one of my favourite episodes of Doctor Who, and it's one of the best episodes that the show has ever made, not just for New Who, but across the show in general. And one of my favourite things about that episode is that we don't find out what the Midnight entity is, or anything about it, or what it looks like, or anything like that. And so my main worry here is that we're going to get too many answers in regards to the Midnight entity. But if this does end up just being kind of another story with the Midnight entity in it, and we don't get any answers or reveals or hints about the Midnight entity, then I think this could be done very well and could still be a good episode similar to Midnight, but with a slight twist on the idea. So I'm hoping that's what it's going to be, and that we're not going to get any reveals and explanations about the Midnight entity itself. And the main thing I really hope we don't get is a look at the actual Midnight entity. So those are my hopes for this, assuming that this is going to be a sequel to Midnight, which I think, like I said, is seeming very likely at this point. But let me know what you think about this in the comments down below. So the next theory that I've seen a lot recently comes from this recently released image of the season of the Doctor and Ruby in what I can only assume is from episode 4. Now for me, this seems to be potentially a flashback to Doctor Who Season 1, as Ruby has the same hair from Doctor Who Season 1 and she's in similar clothes. At first I thought this seems to be a flashback from Space Babies, but you can see Ruby is wearing a different jumper because she's wearing a blue jumper in this, not a red jumper. But I still think this flashback is going to take place somewhere in between maybe Space Babies and the Devil's Cord. Obviously we see Ruby has this green slime on her, which I first thought was from the Bogeyman in Space Babies, so this could take place directly after Space Babies. I've also seen people potentially thinking that this could be from the Slitheen, and we might get a Slitheen cameo in this flashback scene in episode 4. But we've since had another look at this shot in the behind the scenes trailer, where we can see shop window dummies in the background of this shot and in this location. So this has led some people, of course, to speculate that we might be getting an Autons return in this flashback scene for this episode. Obviously obviously, if this is the case, I'm not assuming we're going to have an Autons episode, as that doesn't seem to fit in with any of the episodes in this season. But if we do have a brief flashback scene with an adventure of the Doctor and Ruby in episode 4, I think there is potential that that little adventure in this flashback could be something to do with the Autons. I believe this is also filmed in the same filming location as Henrik's, which is from episode 1 of Doctor Who Series 1, Rose, which obviously featured the Autons as well. But that could just be a reused filming location. It might not necessarily take place in Henrik's. And if this is going to be a little Autons adventure in this flashback scene, I think there's also the possibility that that thing that the Doctor is holding in this image could potentially be antiplastic, which of course was used in Rose to defeat the Nestene consciousness and stop the Auton invasion. I also forgot to mention that this little flashback scene with the Autons and potentially with it taking place in Henrik's could be a little nod to Doctor Who Series 1, Episode 1, Rose, as a way of celebrating 20 years of New Who, which has recently just happened. So that's just my theory about what this could entail. This could be a flashback scene with the Autons in it that's kind of somewhat disconnected from the actual episode itself, but it's just a fun little flashback and cameo scene with the Doctor and Ruby on an adventure that we haven't seen from Doctor Who Season 1. But let me know what you think about this theory in the comments down below. Okay, and the final theory we have is that we're going to get a Timeless Child mention and a Fugitive Doctor return. So it's been speculated for a little while now that Jo Martin could be returning in Doctor Who Season 2 as the Fugitive Doctor. I'm not entirely sure where this came from, but I know some people have been speculating it for a little while now, and people have been wondering about this era in general, if we're ever going to get a Timeless Child mention and some elaboration on the Timeless Child lore of Doctor Who from the Chibnall era. And it seems like this is getting more and more likely to happen in this season, as in an interview with Ncuti Gatwa and Varada Sethu, Ncuti Gatwa mentions that we are going to get more of some lore surrounding the Doctor and Gallifrey in this season.
The lore of Doctor Who is so rich and expansive and wide, and this character is such a mystery even to like whoever plays them. You find out new things about them, new aspects of like Gallifreyan history, Time Lord history, and that's always like really golden nuggets that you receive. This season we do learn more about the Doctor's past,
which some people obviously speculated could be about the Timeless Child. And further backing this up, there's been an official Doctor Who TikTok, Instagram Reel, YouTube Short video with people involved in the show giving one word to describe Doctor Who Season 2, with Millie Gibson using the word timeless.
Season 2 is going to be timeless. See what I did there?
Which obviously could be hinting at the Timeless Child and some exploration of the Timeless Child lore in this season. So obviously these hints have led people to believe that this could be indicating that we are going to get some exploration of the Timeless Child arc in this season. And obviously with that, there's a potential return of Jo Martin as the Fugitive Doctor in this season. But my only thing with this is I'm kind of wondering which episode this could potentially appear in, because we know kind of roughly what a lot of these episodes are going to be about, and I don't really know where this could take place in the season. The main thing I'm thinking is obviously we don't know too much about the finale, and so if this is going to appear anywhere, it could be in the finale, but I'm not 100% sure. So if you have any ideas, let me know in the comments down below. And so those are a few last minute theories for Doctor Who Season 2 that I haven't got to mention in my Everything We Know videos, because these have only kind of recently popped up or had recent evidence kind of shown that could indicate these theories. Obviously, let me know what you think about any of these theories in the comments down below. Do you think any of these are true? If so, which ones do you think are most likely? Or do you think this could go any other number of ways to what I've said in this video? Let me know in the comments down below, and thanks for watching.